Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Golden Opportunities Coaching and Pro Wrestling Logic YouTube channels. Obviously, this is Pro Wrestling Logic. We've got nearly 2,000 of these available for your listening pleasure in a variety of old school, new school, and all points in between. We enter the month of September 1982, specifically 9/4/82, which would be my first birthday. Yay! Interesting just to look back and see what was going on at those times. Briscoe and Paul Jones is a major part of this particular program. Also, we see a couple of returns and a couple of debuts, one of which is useful, the other, not so much. Anyway, as we move into this time period, Mid Atlantic has been a fun ride. Not quite sure what series we're going to do next. Might go to ECW, might go to more of the JCP stuff. Don't really know, but anyway, uh, Jerry Briscoe is back, encouraging his brother Jack not to risk his injured leg from the issues with Flair and the idea that he could get tied up in being in a wrong situation. Wahoo McDaniel also encouraging his friend not to risk things. Also, Wahoo has regained the U.S. Championship from Sergeant Slaughter. So Slaughter had a good, 6 or 8 month run there. Wahoo getting the championship back. Well, it's a couple of reigns anyway. But we go to Jones and Briscoe to kick us off. Obviously, Jones is under the control of Sir Oliver Humperdinck. Humperdinck, the one managing to get Jones the deal here. Um, we see Jones going right to work on the injured leg of Briscoe, tying him up, getting basic stuff. Briscoe coming back around, bow and arrow type maneuvers. And actually, the whole story of the match, for the most part, is the legs on both sides. Briscoe trying to get submissions, cranking on kind of a heel hook, and then Jones, when he finds a weakness in the leg of Briscoe, that was there from the Flair match previous weeks. Tries to go at him. I mean, this is a beautiful match if you want storytelling. Always coming back to the ankle, to the leg, to telling a basic story that makes sense within a wrestling context. Jones tries everything he can, legal and illegal, to get advantages there. Of course, Jones in there with a former NWA champion, so of course the selling is going to be phenomenal. The process of telling the story is going to be phenomenal, but still worth going out of your way to see if you haven't seen this match before or any like it. Jones then manages to hook up on, kind of a sit out by his adversary there. We see kind of the reverse attempted chokehold and Briscoe going right at his man pretty aggressively there and gets a drop on him a little bit and not exactly getting things going in a really strong way. Jones again taking the leg of his adversary over the bottom rope, and amazingly, in a what has to be considered a shock for the time period, Jones does manage to get a kick into the face and hooking the tights and the trunks after working over the leg of his adversary for quite a bit. Paul Jones is your new Mid-Atlantic Heavyweight Champion. Kelly Kiniski out, cutting a promo again, returning to the area. Not sure if the fans are clamoring for it, but they're kind of supportive, I suppose. Kiniski basically saying he's back to do his best, back to fly his craft again. He's been around different areas and is happy to be back in the Mid-Atlantic area. Then we go to his actual match, which happens to be Kelly Kiniski taking on, in this particular match, Joe LeDoux. And Joe LeDoux having come in, I think, the week before for his first television match. Punch kick by LeDoux. LeDoux, known for being violent, known more for the Tennessee, Alabama, Southern territories. I actually believe he might have been Canadian. I know Kiniski is as well. Kiniski, of course, second generation superstar. Does get a couple of moves off on LeDoux, but nothing major. Punches, kicks, maybe a knee lift here or there, but nothing major. And we see LeDoux basically taking his man down piece by piece, bit by bit, and getting some shots off on his adversary. LeDoux getting a victory there. And we see Paul Jones basically saying no one can stop him from being the Mid-Atlantic champion wearing a cowboy hat. Ledoux claiming to want to get in there with Jimmy Valiant and handle Valiant once and for all. And then we go to another heel-heavy part of the show. Ledoux, by the way, has scars in his head from all the bleeding he'd done in previous territories. Abdullah the Butcher also talked about being brought back in at the hands of Humperdinck and, kind of managed there. They show highlights of a Abdullah match, and the promise is there that he will return. Greg Valentine says he'll fight anybody, anywhere, willing to fight Steamboat, willing to fight Piper, willing to fight whoever. Then we go to another series in the matches, which is Greg Valentine against Mike Rotundo. Rotundo coming into his own a little bit. He's going to have a storyline within, I don't know, a couple of weeks here. Valentine and Rotundo, though, is a super cool match. Valentine sure does spend a lot of money on robes. He's got a new blue robe here this week that I don't know that I've seen before. Probably have. My memory might be a little off, but Rotundo is treated well, although does get taken down into leg grapevines and other stuff, other such things. However, he is pretty even for being rookie or second year with Valentine at this point. Nothing terribly to write home about, but you even see Rotundo kind of leaning into maybe having some leg injuries there and other such things go behind, and a hookup there ultimately kind of gets the inverted shots, as it were, and Valentine manages to get a couple of shots there. Valentine also manages to hit forearms and the like and sends Rotundo down to the canvas. Valentine blocking Rotundo from getting back into the ring. The story basically told is Rotundo's inexperience leads to him getting defeated. Humperdinck crowing about all the men under his control. Probably Humperdinck has one of the biggest stables in wrestling at this point in 1982. At least I would believe. I did not know that he was that prominent a feature here. We then kind of go and see the next in series of matches, which happens to include a Wahoo McDaniel match here. There are two new enhancement talents under masks, so probably just the same people, just in different roles. Wahoo and Piper against the Medic and the Gladiator. Wahoo and Piper again, a weird team because not too terribly long ago they would have hated each other. Still an underselling of the benefit of Piper turning babyface here. Piper punch kick, basic stuff. Piper also getting the sleeper hold on, which eventually leads to the victory for his tandem. And really short match there, but we see Piper and Wahoo are successful. Obviously injury to Jack Briscoe and his leg causing him to lose the championship. He promises to win in the future. He promises to come back and get Jones. Wahoo McDaniel says that he is going to be a fighting U.S. champion, unlike Slaughter. And Piper basically cuts a promo saying he's not worried about anything, including the return of Abdullah the Butcher, because he used to give him Krispy Kreme donuts just to keep him under control. So anyway, we'll be back with more right after this.